What's going on, guys? All right, today I am doing a review on the Vevor 8 kilowatt diesel heater. We're gonna kind of go over everything in this video. So when you get sent this thing, obviously the whole unit is put together, but there's a few extra things you have to buy if you wanna make it work for a rooftop tent. And I'll show you those things that I use if you wanna actually make sure that these run properly, because there's a big misconception and a lot of people have issues with these things. And it's usually not the heater, it's the actual power supply and cords that they're using. So I'll show you some fixes for that. They obviously send you with an exhaust and an intake, all those kind of things. And then you kind of have to attach them however you want or however works best for you. So I'll show you how I set up mine to make it really easy to be able to actually bring it on trips. If you keep these things too disassembled or if things are in the way, it makes it really hard to pack them. And so I'll show you how mine's set up so that it's really easy to just put in the truck and take on a trip and use very simply. And then probably the biggest reason I'm doing this video is because this heater is way more improved than some of their previous models. So this is their newest one that has Bluetooth controls from an app on your phone, which is the main reason that I wanted to test this one out, was because of that. And we'll also go over those different settings on the app and show you why that makes such a big difference from just having the old model where you don't have your app on your phone. So I guess the first thing I'll go over is how this thing actually worked in a real situation. So I'm actually up here camping and it's the middle of October and it was freezing. Like I have full beanie and layers and coats on right now. And it's pretty cold out here, but that heater kept me warm all night, which is a good testament to it. Another thing I wanted to tell you was that it actually poured rain all night long, and that heater was just sitting there and it ran like a champ and worked just fine even in the freezing cold and in the rain. So I went with their more vertical version where the heater portion is down here and then your gas tank is up here, but they also sell kind of a more square type version, a horizontal version where they're side by side, where you have your heater on one side and your diesel tank on the other side. Both of them work the exact same. The older model I have actually is the more square version. This time I went with the taller, skinnier one just because it was going to fit in my vehicle better that way. Since my previous one, they've improved a lot of things. So first thing is they give you a really good fuel gauge right there to where you can see where your fuel level's at. They used to attach this cover with sheet metal screws along the whole thing, and now they use these clamps on the bottom, 2 on each side. That lets you get into the inside of it much easier than before. This is where your air comes out of, and then that's the hose that I will show you in a minute. You've got carrying handles. This is your exhaust right here, and so it makes it pretty simple. You just use clamps for everything. So these clamps right here you use to tighten it down on the bottom. And then I've routed mine right here, and then they actually give you these as well, and so I just screwed mine in right there. I wanted the exhaust to be tucked out of the way as best as possible. The way I did this might be a little controversial. They technically tell you that you're supposed to have this exhaust pointed down from where this is at. So technically this would need to come clear out here and actually be straight or pointed down. And that's because they actually need you to be able to lose some moisture out of here. And so right here, they give you a tiny little hole where some moisture can come out if there's any condensation buildup. So I don't know if this is best practice or not, but I actually just took a really small drill bit and I drilled a hole in the very bottom at the lowest point right here so that any condensation can actually drip out of there, since I'm not able to utilize this hole right here since I have this mounted upright. And then this is your intake hose right here. So you also have to attach this when you get it, but it's super easy. It just goes in there and then you just use a clamp to connect it. And that's obviously where it pulls the fresh air in from. And then the electronics are so much better. That's the big selling point on this, is compared to the old screen, the way this functions is way better. So you have a time display right there. And then you can hit the power button and it says start heating. It'll turn itself on just like that. And just kick it on. It'll go on its own. You don't have to do anything else. So let's do a quick overview on the controls here. So you watched me already turn it on. Right now it's starting up and doing its thing. We got Wi-Fi turned on, which pretty much just means Bluetooth, so that I can have access to the app right now. You have 2 modes. So you have a mode button right here. This way you can do it by temperature, which with the way I run this setup doesn't really work, because if you had this mounted inside of an RV or a van, then it might be able to actually tell what temperature the inside is at. But when it's always outside, it's just going to read the temperature for the outside. So the auto mode isn't super useful for a rooftop tent. But if you just go over here to the level mode, you have 10 different level modes here. So I can go down from 1 all the way up to 10. And what that does is it just changes the fan speed. So it's going to heat it as much as possible using the heater, and then that determines how much air it's pushing through for the fan to give you a little bit more heat wherever you're pushing it to. So you can hear that fuel line dripping, and this whole thing is starting up on its own. It works really good. But yeah, you have your up and down arrows that you saw me use. That just changes the level. And then I won't go too crazy into all the settings on this kind of stuff, mostly because there's a lot of guys that are much smarter than me. And honestly, I didn't have to change any of the settings really. So there is ways to get into more of the in-depth settings, but to keep it pretty simple, that's pretty much how the screen functions. So you can hear that thing just kind of cranking away and getting hot already and pumping air into the tent. One thing I thought I would mention real quick is I took note of all the power that it uses. And so when it's starting up, it uses about 140 watts of power approximately. It kind of jumps around, but about 140 when it's starting up, which is quite a bit. And then depending on the level that you have it, 1 through 10, kind of determines how much power it pulls from there. And so what I kind of found out was that if you have it all the way on level 10 cranked all the way, it pulls about 43 to 51 watts, which still isn't horrible. And then on level 5, it pulls about 20 to 30 watts. And then if you have it on level 2, it pulls about 15 to 24 watts. So if you have it on a slightly lower level, you can pull about half the watts. I have heard that these things run happier with the fan speed turned up. So I try not to go below about level 3, just because that's what I read online. So you're not pulling like very much power at all. So about 25 watts to run it on like level 3 or 4, and it'll run all night long like that because it's not a ton of power. So I'll screen mirror and pull up the app and kind of show you all the access you have from the Bluetooth app. So it's this app right here, Air Heater BLE. So you just pull it up like that, and then as long as your heater's on, it's just going to pull up automatically. There is some instructions when you first get this thing in the little booklet they give you on how to connect it, but honestly it was super easy. So you can see right there on the main screen, it's telling me that there's stable combustion. So as you start this thing up, it'll actually tell you that it's preheating or heating or some various different things. But once it's actually up and running, it's showing me that it's stable, which is really nice to know. And then below that, where that little heater icon is you have all of your levels. And so you have a few different controls down at the very bottom. And so if I hit this plus button, I can actually turn up the level like that, and I can actually see what level I'm on. I can also turn it down right there to be lower. And it works pretty quick. You can already hear the heater hopping up the fuel more to get it running a little bit hotter. And then you can also change the mode here. So you can change between that temperature mode and then the manual mode, which I obviously pretty much just use the manual mode so that I can adjust this running level, this fan speed. And then it does tell you, like, it gives you a temperature, how many volts you're pulling, the altitude that you're at, and that kind of thing. But really it's pretty simple. The app is not very complicated. And then I'm actually going to turn this off now. So all you have to do is, this is your power button right here. You hold it down like that, and then it will say that it's on standby. And it's actually saying, it did the voice and said stop heating. So it has some voice controls there. But so now it's going to take its time to shut down and do that whole process. If you are new to diesel heaters, one thing that everyone will say in the forums and everywhere is to make sure that you never unplug this without doing the actual shutdown process. So make sure that you either hit the power button on the app or hit the power button off on the control. And then right now the screen will actually be blinking. It says off, and it just blinks like that. you actually want to wait all the way, you know, the shutdown process is done once it goes back to the time, where it has the time back on the screen again. It's just the way that it burns through everything. You have to let it do that whole shutdown process. So here, if you can hear that, it's still on the shutdown process. That fan is just running a little bit, and you can see right there it's blinking off, and that just means that it's in the middle of its shutdown process. So you want to just let it do its thing so that it can burn off everything, and then that way next time you start it up, it'll actually start up properly. And then the way they run their electrical is a lot better now. So you used to have to kind of clamp it on the same way you would with a battery, with a negative and a positive battery terminal. But now it kind of goes in there internally, and then they give you some wire. So the wire kind of just comes out here, and then it's bare with just a red and a black wire that you then wire up however you want to. And I'll show you how I did mine. So normally, if you were installing this in a van or something, you would then just extend that wire, and you would actually wire it right to a battery, like your starter battery. And honestly, that's the best way that these are able to run, is if you're running them right to a battery. But for this kind of application, most of us try and avoid wiring them right to our starter batteries. And so let me show you how I've wired this so that it will actually work. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but if you do this wrong, these things will not have enough amps to run, and then they will not start up, and you'll think that it's broken. But really, it all has to do with your power supply being rated for enough. So I'll put links to what I use in the description below so that you can just go order them if you want to do this. But it is very important that you order the right ones. And so this right here is the cord that I use to wire mine up. So like I said, when you buy the heater, it actually comes with a little bit of wire that you then just have to use some connectors, connect whatever wire you want. But from Amazon, I ordered this cable that comes with a cigarette plug, and then it runs to some terminals that I just snipped and then wired directly to the diesel heater. Everything with your power supply needs to be rated for over 15 amps. They tell you that right in the instruction booklet. And so anything under 15 amps, it's not going to let this thing run properly. So this cable from Amazon is rated for 30 amps. So unfortunately, it's not quite as simple as just taking that cigarette plug and just plugging it into your power station if that's how you're going to power it. Again, if you're going right to a starter battery or something, that's not a big deal. You can just go right onto the terminals. But I've just had to learn this just like everyone else through trial and error. But these things just aren't happy off of a cigarette plug. And it's not the heater's fault. It's because they need more power than these can actually give you. And so it's actually based off of what these are rated for. So these plugs on the power stations for 12 volts at most are rated for like 10 amps, but most of them are rated anywhere from 5 to maybe 8 to 10. And that's just quite not enough. Like I said, your entire power supply needs to be rated for over 15 amps of power in order to, especially to start this thing up. And so it really doesn't matter what wires you buy. It's not going to change the fact that those plugs right there are rated for under 10 amps most of the time, and you need at least 15 for startup. So there is an easy solution to this. You can buy these AC to DC adapters on Amazon. So it just goes right into an AC plug right here, and then it runs it through an adapter box, and then here is your input for that cigarette plug that I have wired on to the diesel heater. But these also have to be rated enough. So just recently, I realized that I actually wasn't running one that was powerful enough. So I just got this one on Amazon. The one I was running before was only rated for 10 amps. And then when I got this new heater, it was sometimes firing up and sometimes it wasn't. And that's because it kind of varies at startup how much these things pull. Sometimes they pull 8 amps, sometimes they pull 10, 12. That's why at 15 amps, you're just going to be able to run anything no matter what, depending on what the startup does. So this new one that I got is actually rated for 20 amps, and I will obviously provide a link for that in the description. That way you can get the correct 12-volt cord and the correct adapter here, both rated over 15 amps. That way you'll have no issue running them if you want to run your heater off of a power station. So since I'm kind of already up here, let me kind of show you how I run mine into the tent here. So Anti-Shanty actually gives you a port right here. And so this port has its own little cap that kind of screws in for when you're not using it. But it's a 4-inch hole. and you just undo the cap, and then that way you have access to run a diesel heater right here. And the way I run mine is off of the hose here, which I will show you more of when I go back out there. I just run this adapter. So I just bought this on Amazon, and it's a 3-inch to 4-inch adapter that really all it does is it just makes it so that that doesn't fall out and that it can just kind of sit in there and actually kind of seal off this area, since this is a 4-inch hole. But if you're just running this into a regular rooftop tent, the way I did it for about a year is you just take your 3-inch ducting and just run it through whether it's your back door or your side window. You can actually just do up the zipper right onto it and kind of seal it that way. So here's a better look from the outside, but this is this 3-inch ducting. You do have to order this separately. They give you like a small little ducting that comes out like this far. That's obviously not enough for this application. So this 3-inch ducting, you then can just hook right on here with a hose clamp. Little side note, you can get these hose clamps on Amazon that hand tighten like this, so you don't need a tool for them, which is really nice for taking on and off that hose without having to get a tool. And then I recommend just cutting this ducting to the right size. So they come in lots of different lengths. Mine was way too long, and so I cut it so that it was the perfect size to fit in my tent. The longer this is, the more heat you lose out of this. So straight out of the port, this thing will push like well over 300 degrees hot. And then by the time it runs through that hose, I run more in like the 170 to 190 range. And so the longer that hose is, the more heat you lose by the time it actually gets to where you need to be heating. I think the only thing I haven't really gone over is the way that I'm mounting mine. And so this was a really simple solution. So this is a tire step that I got on Amazon. And again, links for everything below, but it just hooks over your tire and then kind of sits there. And the reason that you might want something like that is, one, it gets you a little bit closer to your tent so that your hose can be shorter. But if you were doing this in the winter or something, it's nice to have this thing off the ground, out of the snow, or it rained a lot last night, so it keeps it out of the mud and that kind of thing. And then they actually fold up really good. So the way I do it is I take off my hose and I put that in a separate bag. And then these just kind of come off like this, and then this folds out of the way. So you can actually fold this tire step like that, and then the whole thing is portable. And then it's really easy. They have pre-drilled holes in the heater. I actually drilled a third one right in the middle, and then I just drilled holes through this tire step right here and used whatever bolts you want to, but I attached it right to the tire step. So mine kind of stays permanently mounted on that tire step, but it's really portable, and I can just move it around, and then when I want to, I can just hook it right onto the tire. So one thing I thought that was worth mentioning is that even though this is the 8 kilowatt version, I've read online that the 5 kilowatt and the 8 kilowatt versions of any of these brands are pretty much the exact same. Apparently the internals are pretty much identical. The only reason I got the 8 kilowatt version is because I think Vevor must be kind of marketing this one a little bit more. And so when you search diesel heater on Amazon, it pulls up first, and it's actually cheaper right now than the 5 kilowatt version. So keep that in mind. Whether you see the 5 kilowatt version or the 8 kilowatt version, it shouldn't really matter which one you get. They're going to run pretty much the exact same. And I found that. I actually ran both my 5 kilowatt one and my 8 kilowatt one, and I measured the temperatures and I measured how much power they pull, and it was like pretty much the exact same. They pulled the exact amount of watts at startup. The running watts were the same. And then the heat coming out of the actual port there was in the 300 plus degree range and about the exact same. So I would just get whatever one is more readily available, whether it's their website or Amazon. That's kind of what I would do. But one thing to really make sure you get is I would really recommend getting the one that actually has Bluetooth app control. So they still sell the more simple version that just has a remote. And even this one comes with a remote too. But I wouldn't recommend it because the remote does work when you're inside of your tent, but the remote just gives you an on-off feature, and then you can change the fan speed on it with some arrows on it, but you then can't tell what level it's actually on. And so I've had lots of experience with my other one where I've actually been able to start it while I'm up in the tent, but I don't remember what fan speed I have it on, and so I'm kind of just guessing. And so the nice thing about the app is you can just turn it on. One, you can then read any of the error codes that might pop up. You can make sure that it's running properly. And then the biggest thing for me was being able to actually see what fan speed it's on, so I can change it from a level 4 to 10 if I need more heat in the tent, something like that. So I'm really impressed with this new unit. I didn't have any doubts because I've already ran their other one for about a year. And once you get the power supply thing figured out, you're golden. And so that's the biggest mistake that people make on these, is using too small of wires and not using the correct thing, or thinking that they might just be able to run it right off their power station. The confusing thing is that you might see, if you're watching videos on these, some people are able to just run it right to the 12-volt plug on their power station, and I think they're mostly just getting lucky. I would recommend at least buying the AC to DC adapter. That way you at least have it with you in case it seems like it's not wanting to start off of that plug. Just to make sure that you're safe and can actually run this thing when you need to. So I will provide links for all of the extra stuff that I buy off of Amazon, as well as an actual link for the heater. So go ahead and go check it out. There's also a discount code for you guys if you want to use that as well. But thanks for watching the video. Let me know if you have any questions about this thing or if I missed anything. Appreciate you guys watching. Catch you next time.